So, those of you who are watching me and watching and watching and only watching, this is not a situation of you watching my public torture again. This is a situation of me watching you all being publicly tortured again. I'm not going anywhere. There's nowhere else to go. And it is only that I'm the only one around here who understands that why and how it is that I am not going anywhere. And neither are you. It makes no difference what we do to ourselves and each other here, whether we achieve that which feels better rather than worse, or that which feels worse rather than better. We stay here together and must look into each other's eyes again and again. Because no matter how often we go away, we just as often come back and see in the eyes of others the history of how we brought that which felt better and that which felt worse to each other. And we have all definitely brought both. This does not go away. This is what we are continually facing forever. Self-polarization and the malevolence of the cultural system it produces tells us this person I'm dealing with is a temporary side character who will just drop out of my life as soon as I forget them. And this is the big lie. You think that all you have to do is remove a person from your life, remove them from your life to the end of their days. And that doing this will mean that they then won't ever come back and look you in the eye so that you may witness the living history there of all you have given that person so far. But they always come back, and they will never stop coming back. Because none of us are going anywhere. We're all staying right here, together, forever. There is our reality. There is our freedom within limitation, our power and our self-accountability, our indestructibility, and our eternal sensitivity. We stay here together forever, and what we see reflected back to us in another's eyes is ourself. Forever without end. You call for it to be beautiful? Then go ahead. You must be beautiful. You must be the beauty, because you are all the beauty that you get to see when you look in another's eyes. You call for it to be worse rather than better. Then, likewise, go ahead. You must embody that which you are looking to see reflected back at you in the eyes of another. If you want to see that it is worse, then you need to go ahead and put the work in and be that. What you be is what you get. What you see is what you be. A faker sees fakers, and a taker sees lack. A giver amongst takers sees abundance. A giver amongst givers knows only abundance. Eternity is as eternity does. It is that simple. Forever indestructible, forever sensitive. That is what we are. That is what we are. And that is what the malevolence of the human cultural system specifically states we are not. It states that we are not forever. And we inescapably are. Let me play my hand. Let me lay out my Masterplan Agenda as openly and nakedly to you as you do yours to me. I offer my full agenda for your full suppression, or for you choosing not to suppress. First thing first, no witch hunting. No witch hunting for me. No witch hunting for anybody. I am not going to witch hunt any individual. I'm not going to witch hunt any specific demographic of our collective. Nobody gets punished. Nobody gets attacked. Because we are all the witches. We all try to hypnotize each other, and we are all weary of having people try to hypnotize us. Hypnotize us out of our own energy and into theirs. We are all the witches. And even when we are in forgetfulness of ourself, our craft is innate within each of us, because it is only our own personal history of being eternal. We're always practicing it, whether amnesiac or lucid. In other words, we work our magic without pause, whether we are doing it consciously or not. So, let's all just back off of each other and leave each other be. Because none of us are going anywhere, and we're never going to get away from having to look into each other's eyes. No witch hunting. Can we please agree on that? And really, after that, right now, my agenda only consists of one insistence and one suggestion. For sure, I have opinions about such things as being economically strategic and the like. But so long as I'm not being witch hunted by suppression and am free to say whatever I like, whenever I like, now and in the future, I really feel I only need to have this one insistence and one suggestion on my agenda. And neither of these target anyone specifically, be that individual or organization or demographic or whatever. I want to play my agenda as an open hand, specifically right now, because I have missed a renewal payment on my website and am now, as far as I understand, 1 week into a 30-day grace period of having not paid my renewal fee, which will be followed by a 30-day redemption period, after which my website will become inactive. Please download what you can of my work while you can. And please click on the donate button on my website. So, my insistence, the one insistence of my agenda, which is not a demand, but only a hard truth. My insistence is short, simple, and sweet, and I've said it numerous times before. We do not let the child be harmed. And this insistence of mine, that is not a demand, is only my insistence on the truth of the matter being that we need to agree that we do not let the child be harmed. If our own health is at all of any interest to us. This is where our healing starts, because it is literally what brings our healing. And it leads to our being really far on in our healing in a matter of only a generation or two. Just as we are all the witches, we are also, all of us, the child. We do not let the child be harmed. We are the eternal, and we do not let the child be harmed. This is the agreement I need us to have, if there can be agreement between us. And yes, this does mean abolishing compulsory child education. I guess this may sound alarmingly radical to some, but it's only the compulsory element of our child educational system I insist should be removed. The educational system and its infrastructure should continue to be freely provided for the children. It's only that word, compulsory, that needs to be taken away, because it is child abuse. Let the children attend what they want to attend, and not attend what they don't want to attend. And let what they didn't attend when young still be available to them when they are older. It's really just that word, compulsory, that just needs to go. Who even put that word in there in the first place? No, not calling for a witch hunt. I'm just saying the compulsory aspect of our generously and freely provided child education is such a widely accepted form of societal child abuse that barely anybody hesitates to subject their own child to it before pausing to say to themselves, hang on a minute, free child education, yeah, sounds good. I'm on board with that. And, oh, by the way, it's compulsory. Compulsory? Compulsory. I'm sorry. When was it exactly that I agreed to this? I never told you that you can make the abuse of my child compulsory. Yeah? Have you noticed how none of us say that? The word compulsory is just a word, isn't it? A word that got slipped in somehow. But that's all it is, eh, everybody? Just a word. It is not just a word. It is as far from being just a word as you can get. The word compulsory can just be slipped out again, thank you. Because we didn't ask for it, didn't ever need it, and don't want it, thank you. And that is my one big agenda item. We do not let the child be harmed. And we let them learn what they want to learn when they want to learn it. Nobody's industry needs to suffer, and nobody needs to lose their job. Just take that abusive word, compulsory, away. I mean, come on, children. We can do better than that. Okay. And that leaves us with the suggestion I would like to include on my agenda. This is not an insistence. It's just a call to action, an invitation to action on the personal level of the individual. I'm not going to say we should abolish copyrights and patents. I'm sure that would be unworkable, too severe a change to the existing system. It is only that I would like to invite us all to just make it a general policy for ourselves that when we create something new, whether it be a design for some physical invention or a song or whatever, we just go right on ahead and release it into the public domain of our own accord. This suggestion is just my suggestion. So if I invent a tool or machine that does something cool and good and useful for myself and others, I say from the start, cool, I'm pleased I've come up with a contribution. Maybe I can make them and sell them. Oh, by the way, everybody, here's what I came up with in case it's of any use to you. You see, patent laws and copyright laws are basically the rule that if a person has a good idea, none of the rest of us can use it. None of us that can't afford to. This may seem like a good idea from a business perspective, but it actually isn't even that. It's bad business, even as it specifically blocks us as our collective from developing and evolving at our natural pace. A natural pace that is greatly accelerated when we can actually freely use and implement anybody's good ideas relative to the pace that copyright and patents law determines and allows. I'm not suggesting we abolish those laws. I'm just saying we decline to use them for our own creative output by specifically and proactively putting our creative output into the public domain as a matter of course. Give the world permission to use your cool idea, whatever it may be. I do, of course, look forward to that day when none of us are shy of taking and using somebody else's cool idea. And none of us are shy about letting them do it. Our playful output, whether entirely original or nowhere near original, can only stand on its own merits anyway. The speed of our progress will only be multiplied exponentially when we are all allowed to play freely with whatever ideas we do come up with between us. It is this freeing up of the very processes of our shared creativity that speeds up the process of us identifying which ideas work best for our own satisfaction. We all get to play freely with all of our ideas, and the best ones quickly become identified for us all. I believe my one insistence and my one suggestion they will be more than enough to set the path properly unfolding for us. Literally just a couple of generations of this, and we wouldn't recognize ourselves. This is all my agenda is. As far as I am concerned, you can take it, leave it, play with it as you like. Because I've released it into the public domain. You are not watching me being tortured. I am watching you. Because I know we are all staying here together. None of us are going anywhere. None of us are leaving. And so I be myself lucidly within the truth of that. For me, seeing the human cultural game for the manifestation of malevolence that it is, I agree with myself that just because all of that kind of stuff is here, side by side with me, to the alarming extent that it is, doesn't mean I have to see myself as it, see myself as being of it. I don't. I am not. Even while I can't be exempt from the rigors of having all this malevolence here and alongside me like this, I can and do decline the rigors of being it myself. If I'm in a movie and I know I am in a movie, then I can be my lucid self within the confines and limitations of being in that movie. And if you don't like the sound of confines and limitations, every moment of truth ever experienced from whatever location, at whatever time, at whatever scale, had and has its own confines of limitations. Everything that is good and worthwhile for one's own satisfaction as the eternal in eternity comes with, because it would be utterly impossible without, confines of limitations. Every moment of truth that you both experience and are literally consists of its own unique combination of confines of limitations. And so, confines of limitations are to be savoured, as well as they may be, so you can decide for yourself, is this something I desire to continue savouring?